Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I have the lovely Sheila Bennati. But if you follow her on Instagram, she's Heal with Sheila, correct?
Yes.
I've brought her here because of two things. So we're gonna do two videos. One will be a lot more focused on, which is today's video, will be a focus on mental fitness and depression, and then the second one will be about health and fitness. And the reason why is because Sheila is a yoga instructor. And just to give you a background, I think a lot of us are warriors and not warriors, right?
Correct.
And we live in a society where we are constantly comparing ourselves to the next IG model, to the next Kim Kardashian, whatever, or someone who's driving a Bugatti while you're driving a Datsun, you know, like
exactly.
We're constantly comparing ourselves. We have more financial worries, maybe because we put ourselves in these positions. We have relationships that are stressing us out that we shouldn't really have been in the first place, as you would have seen in my last video. And so there's all these things, and also the peer pressure, and also you being young and trying to grow up and find your feet in this world. So I brought Sheila to really talk on this topic because she has actually fought depression before, and I think it would be nice to hear from someone who's succeeded. And so if you're having the same journey or having a particular problem or fighting depression or some sort of mental health illness or whatever, I just want you to know that there's hope. And like I said, I wanted March to be about being motivated and for you to find self-motivation. And what better way than encouraging your mind, because your mind is your strongest muscle.
Yes.
So I have a few questions for Sheila in terms of depression and like how I guess we can heal from it and how we can stay motivated and positive and get our mental fitness in order so that we can be winners in 2019. So I guess just kindly first share with us what made you initially depressed in the past. Share what you feel comfortable.
Okay. I'm comfortable sharing everything. I just let everything out there. Okay, so my depression started at the age of 16, to be exact, and haven't gone through different phases because this is something I just started sharing this year, okay? So in my childhood, I went through sexual abuse.
Okay.
In my teenhood, I went through physical abuse, and adulthood, I went through emotional abuse. So imagine going through that whole train of
Emotional,
sexual, physical abuse. Yeah.
Okay. So being beaten. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So having gone through all that,
Yes.
like as much as you try to stay strong, you try to remain positive, you actually hide behind a smile. I'm so good at doing that, by the way. You know?
A lot of us do hide behind the smile.
Exactly. Like I fought it for so long, to that point I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, fine, in school, you're socializing and everything, but then it seems like everyone out there seems to have a perfect life.
Yeah.
And you're just there like, okay, where do I belong? Am I behind closed doors, walking around sad, feeling all these negative emotions, or am I this neutral person who's just caught in between the good and the bad?
Okay.
Or am I just this person out there, being a social person, being active, being sporty, and just going out and having a full good time?
Okay.
Yeah? So 16 it started stretching through. It hit me hard in my, actually I went through postpartum depression as well.
Okay.
And I think that was just like
She has a daughter, by the way.
Yeah, she's 6.
Yeah.
Hello, Miss Yogi. Yeah, so it hit me hard postpartum, and this new little being, and her being a girl, and then now starting to stress like, oh my god, I just delivered a girl. What's gonna happen to her? Like, will the same things that happened to me happen to
you
her?
are worried that history might repeat itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The energy that you carry manifests. Yeah.
Yeah. You think what you think you become.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. So yeah, that has just been me from then
up to now.
up to now.
Just out of curiosity, before I move on to the next question, did you ever report any of the incidents that can be reported, which would only now, I think in UK or that you can actually report if you're being emotionally abused. It's very hard to gather evidence that shows that, but now they kind of the law will accept it as a valid reason for you to take someone to court. But for obviously sexual abuse or physical abuse, just out of curiosity, had you ever thought of reporting, or did you do it, or how did you go about it?
You know, actually growing up in this African society and being a woman on top of that, like having to share or expose such cases is taboo, you know?
Yep.
It's a taboo in many
I think African and Asian society have the same problem.
Yes.
There are things that you just do not discuss. In fact, my videographer was telling me how recently where he lives, that sadly this couple were fighting, and a pregnant lady, and they tried to help her find out, what's going on. She's like, no, I'm okay. Next day she's dead. She was 7 months pregnant. So a lot of us are we're smiling and pretending, but yet we're really suffering.
Yeah.
Which will bring me to my next point. So a lot of us are not aware that they're suffering from mental health or have depression. How did you know that you were depressed?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you have a mental breakdown? Like, what was it? What did you do?
Mm-hmm. A lot of things happen along the way, but then mostly it's just mood swings, how your attitude changes. I'm mostly cheerful, social, happy kind of person.
Yeah.
But then at some point I started isolating myself from people.
Okay.
Yeah. I started developing mood swings. I would just be happy one moment, the next thing I'm like, blowing up.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah.
And that was the first sign that I got. And then also started contemplating on suicide. Okay?
Yeah.
So the thought of suicide is a thing that was like, hold up, like, why are my thoughts going that far?
Yeah.
Like, fine, I have my issues. I've gone through what I've gone through.
Yeah.
But why have I allowed my mind to actually consider ending my life? So that was literally like my wake-up call.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, what course of action did you take to fight off that state of depression, fighting off those suicide feelings? Like, what did you do?
I started writing.
Okay. So it became like a therapeutic thing?
Exactly.
How did the writing come about? Like, did you see someone who was going through the same thing that you read about, or see someone on TV?
My personal experience was just basically research. Like, I went online, I started doing like little quizzes, these personality tests, these 5 signs you're going through this form of abuse, how do you deal with it, what can you do? Then I started diving deeper into what I loved doing. So that definitely was writing, art, design, like all that stuff. So that kind of like became my own self-therapy. Then. But then it actually depends with how mentally strong you are. Some people can start their healing journey independently. But other people need someone to help them and guide them and to talk to. So that's when I would actually recommend a counselor, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whoever's out there.
I know there's like Amani counselling in Kenya you can go to.
Yes.
And I'm sure that, I don't know if it's free, I'll have to find out and I'll put information at the end of this video. But again, like, I think you just remind me sometimes just don't sit on your problem. And if you find it hard to talk about it, then research and find out where you can go to for help. And be conscious. A lot of us, that's why I asked you, a lot of us are not conscious that we're fighting something. And so in the end, you end up burying your friend who committed suicide because they weren't aware and they weren't picking up the signs and stuff. And maybe we're filling the void with. Did you ever fill the void with alcohol, overeating, over exercising? Fanatism. Did you?
I did, especially with the drinking. Like, I would drink myself to a pulp. Like, literally, my head was always on the ground. I was always on the ground. I literally used to get carried home in my teen years. Like, seriously.
Because it was your way. It was helping you to forget.
Exactly. To
And
just
pause.
a temporary escape, temporary escape, and yeah.
Okay. So next question, as I find it. So what would you say would be the new habits or exercises or mental stimulation that one can do to kind of stay motivated? Because one thing I know about suicide thoughts, it's very hard to kill them sometimes. They just keep coming back. And sadly, people have been successful because they ended up like couldn't get out of it. So what are the things that you have done to stay mentally stimulated? And question, when you fought depression, have you ever been depressed back, or have you found ways to anchor yourself out of it?
You know, with depression, it's depressive episodes. So just because you suffered from depression once, or you're in that state of depressive thoughts and everything, doesn't mean the last. So anything small can actually provoke that state of depression. So I can say like the last time I slipped into a state of depression was late last year, okay, after an event. Actually, no, this year. This year in January or so.
Okay.
Literally just last month. Yeah?
Okay.
And because I'm more aware and I've been practicing mindfulness, I've actually been deliberate about the way I think,
okay,
the way I talk,
okay,
how I talk to myself. Because your worst enemy and your worst critique is yourself. Yeah, it's not how people judge you, how people see you, what people say to you. No, it's how you take in that information that actually defines who you are.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So I became deliberate about the way I think, the way I act as well. And I just replaced the negativity with positive things. So if it meant listening to music and just being free, taking a day off, because I'm an entrepreneur, of course, so
yes,
I'm allowed to take a day off.
Yeah.
Taking a day off, that worked.
Yeah.
And in terms of fitness, I started walking. So
Yeah.
I literally walk every morning at Jeffries, and just 10 laps, that's like 4.4 kilometers.
Okay.
Yoga, I go into yoga because it's more also, as much as you focus on the physical, you also need to focus on your mental.
Meditation.
Exactly.
Big on that.
Exactly. So it's yoga, meditation, I go into energy work, I go into pranic healing, and that just like broadened my understanding of self, why my body had to go through what it went through, and
Yes.
how to start shifting and changing your way of thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now we're gonna end this on a high. So there's someone here who's watching you and has experienced either all of what you've experienced, has experienced something you've experienced, is thinking about suicide, or is just in a really dire situation and just doesn't feel they can get out of it. How would you encourage the person who's watching, or how would you encourage anyone who just feels it's not stable in the mind?
Don't hold it in. Let it out. If you need to cry, if you need to scream, let it out, okay? And write. Like, if you feel like writing a letter, let's say a suicide note. I actually prepared that. I have it on SoundCloud.
Okay.
Dear suicide note.
I'll put the link down below.
Yes. So instead of writing your suicide note, write to your thoughts. Like, dear suicide note, okay? Write all your feelings down, cry over those feelings, feel whatever it is that you're feeling, but then also write down what you're grateful for.
Sure.
Be positive. Like, fine, we have these issues, like literally like the whole way.
Yes.
You know? But then the positive thing, naturally as human beings, is always just a little bit like, okay, yeah, I'm just grateful because of something.
Yes.
But then if you shift that focus into something positive,
Yeah.
and just read that note,
Yeah.
release all those emotions. It's
Yeah.
just a way of unburdening yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then replace with something good. And say like, yes, dear suicide note, I'm not worthy, I'm not this, I'm not that, da. And then you stop and you're like, but hold on, I'm alive. That's something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
I'm writing this letter, I'm aware.
Yes.
So many things are happening. So,
Yeah.
yes.
You know, you're right, actually. Do you know what? There's a song that J. Cole has written, and I can't quite remember it, and I'm just gonna have to put the link down below after the video. But he's written, I think it's called A Beautiful Struggle or something like that. And he's written it, so you said, I'm not worthy, whatever. And then the way he's written it, he's written it in a depressive state. And then now he asks you to read it from the bottom up.
Yes, exactly.
So you flip the script.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think I'll just say that sometimes we ask ourselves why. I think you should complete that sentence. Why not you?
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'll put information of like centers that you can go to, or websites or organizations that can help. And yeah, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. You can connect with Sheila, I'll put her details. I mean, that was great. Honestly, thank you so much for being so open.
Thank you.
Namaste.